Today, the Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in the Middle East to meet with leaders in Israel. He says his top priorities include humanitarian aid and protecting civilians as that fighting intensifies in Gaza.
Meanwhile, President Biden says more than 70 Americans got out of Gaza yesterday alone. CBS News' Ian Lee has the latest from Tel Aviv.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken landed in Tel Aviv on his second trip to the Middle East since the conflict began nearly a month ago. He says he's focused on protecting innocent civilians caught in the crossfire, getting humanitarian aid into Gaza, and reaching a sustainable peace between Israel and the Palestinians.
We're determined that this conflict not spread.
The visit comes 3 days after the gates opened at the Rafah crossing, allowing hundreds of foreign passport holders, including dozens of Americans, passage from war-torn Gaza into Egypt.
I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to see the family that I left behind or the friends that I left behind.
The Biden administration says it supports temporary pauses in fighting in order to get Americans and hostages out of Gaza and humanitarian aid in, though it's not in favor of a general ceasefire. Israel's military says the encirclement of Gaza City is complete as the fighting expands deeper into the territory. Hamas says an Israeli airstrike on the Baraj refugee camp Thursday is believed to have killed at least a dozen Palestinians. Ian Lee, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Just yesterday, the House of Representatives passed a $14 billion Israel aid bill despite a veto threat from the White House. However, that bill is not likely to get past the Democratic-controlled Senate, where many lawmakers from both parties oppose separating Israel aid from Ukraine assistance.